Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out ExpressVPN.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months.
Yo, what up, brothers? It's the Director Chargers fans. Oh my God! The Chargers just landed quarterback J.C. Jackson to a 5-year, $82.5 million contract. The Chargers, baby, are going all in. And this defense is looking absolutely so scary, dudes. You know what? I don't think we are done yet. As crazy as it is to think, dudes, the Chargers have just been going nuts this offseason in a year where it's very evident we are making a push for the Super Bowl. J.C. Jackson, the best cornerback on the market. I would argue a top 5, even top 3 cornerback in the NFL is joining a stacked Chargers defensive roster, which will honestly help the Chargers close out games and get that win column well into the double digits. Dudes, in my time as a Chargers fan, it has been just so long since free agency has hit this hard, and my goodness, are we off to a fantastic start. Well, Chargers fans, in this reaction video, we're going to go over what the brand new regime of the Los Angeles Chargers defense is going to look like and what signing J.C. Jackson to this roster is going to mean. Question in the comments for you guys: considering the Chargers' very impressive pass rush, how many interceptions do you think J.C. Jackson logs with his brand new team, the Los Angeles Chargers? With that, let's get into this. Before we do, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into it, boys. Lights, camera, action. Welcome to the Los Angeles Chargers, J.C. Jackson, the newest addition in this stacked all-in offseason for the Bolts. Oh my God, dudes, I cannot tell you how excited I am. This is absolutely insane. The first thing I want to talk about is the deal, actually. J.C. Jackson signing a 5-year, $82.5 million contract. That only comes out to about $16.5 million a season. Of course, I do think that that's going to include something like $20-something million in the first year, but just like Mike Williams' contract, we should see that spread out through a pretty decent period of time. This was actually an awesome move by Tom Telesco and those guys in the front offices of the Los Angeles Chargers. J.C. Jackson making maybe $5 million less than Christian Kirk per year, which is absolutely blowing my mind. If you guys didn't see that, Christian Kirk earning $21 million a season. We just signed J.C. Jackson to a cheaper deal on 5 seasons. This is absolutely insane. A great value signing for the Chargers. Of course, I'm actually filming this pretty live. This is a very live, raw reaction take of what's going on. Is there any additional information regarding star J.C. Jackson? Let's see if Ian Rappaport has anything else to offer here. He says Derwin James, love it. Dude, look at this, man. If Derwin James is the man. He was at the Pro Bowl recruiting everybody. Tyrann Mathieu, J.C. Jackson. Actually, to the left of him on this picture, you will see a Tyrann Mathieu who is also yucking it up with at the Pro Bowl. Absolutely fantastic. Is there any more numbers that we can look at? Here we go. Ian Rappaport, 5-year, $85 million, $28 million in year 1. That's what I was talking about. $40 million in the first 2 years. A bag, as they say. Absolutely a bag, as they say. $20 or $40 million in the first 2 seasons is absolutely doable for the Chargers. Before anybody
starts freaking out about the numbers. Like, oh, what are the Chargers going to do at defensive line? What are we going to do at maybe another cornerback or a right tackle? Don't worry about it. The Chargers are one of the most intelligent teams when it comes to roster construction, or I should say contract construction. I do think the contract is going to make sense for the Chargers this season as well as seasons to come, because we have to remember the cap space or the NFL cap is continuing to grow. Some projected to be up to $220 million here in the next couple of seasons. So wrapping up a name like J.C. Jackson on the long term, you know, in the next couple of seasons is going to look like an absolute steal. As of right now, $85 million over 5 years is an absolute steal. $16.5 million for the best cornerback on the market. Again, a top 3 cornerback in my humble opinion. This man is going to generate turnovers for the Chargers, and this really just does speak to what the Chargers' objectives have been this offseason. We've seen some weaknesses, one of which still needs to be addressed. It's been sort of addressed with Khalil Mack, but that run defense still is a big concern for the Bolts, which again, the Chargers are not done. Sebastian Joseph, Akeem Hicks, these guys are very realistic acquisitions for the Chargers that could be announced even here in the next couple of hours. I'm going to be checking my phone religiously as we're doing this just to make sure we don't miss anything. But yeah, just absolutely huge deal for the Chargers, man. Again, makes so much sense financially for the team. Derwin James gets his ex-teammate from high school on the roster, and the Chargers start building on those weaknesses that we had last season. If I failed to mention, the Chargers, one of the worst teams in generating turnovers. We've added Khalil Mack, the forced fumble machine. We've got Joey Bosa, the forced fumble machine. Asante Samuel Jr., the ascending talent, and now Derwin James and J.C. Jackson back there. Those guys, obvious turnover machines as well. This just spells so much good news for not just the Chargers defense, but Justin Herbert as well. Justin Herbert, the man that was carrying this team pretty much throughout the entirety of 2021, finally will get some help on the defensive side of the ball. And honestly, guys, if you are an opponent of in the AFC West of the Los Angeles Chargers, you have got to be shaking in your boots, particularly if your name is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson comes into this division. He got himself a solid team. I'll go ahead and admit that. But all of a sudden, the Chargers are adding these defensive playmakers out here that are going to make life a lot more interesting for Russell Wilson come game day. My God, dudes, we live in a world where the Chargers, in the span of 3 or 4 days, traded for Khalil Mack and then signed the biggest free agent on the market in J.C. Jackson. This isn't the same old Chargers, man. This ain't your daddy's Chargers. This is the brand new regiment of Chargers coming in here, making big moves that will have big impacts and big positive consequences going into this next season. Not only that, man, signings like this are going to keep the Chargers in contention for the further 3, 4, 5, 6 years even. As Justin Herbert continues to get better, the Chargers absolutely are going to start becoming a even bigger threat and more consistent threat in the AFC West, the AFC Conference, and in the NFL as a whole. So let's talk about J.C. Jackson, man, the brand new acquisition for the Chargers. This is such a big deal, dudes. I was of the opinion that maybe the Chargers might be throwing a little bit of smoke out there, right? Trying to get the price point up for J.C. Jackson, make acquisitions in another area as far as DB a little bit cheaper for themselves. It was no smoke, man. Some people like myself were talking about maybe instead of J.C. Jackson, we go grab a Charvarius Ward and a DJ Reed, you know, or even a Rasul Douglas, who was very high on my list as well. At this point, man, with the kind of contract that J.C. Jackson just signed, I don't think you would have been able to afford 2 other guys in the same price point. This is actually a lot cheaper than a lot of us were thinking. At one point, some reports were saying that J.C. Jackson wanted Jalen Ramsey money, and that is north of $20 million. That did not happen. The Chargers got a great deal, and honestly, in terms of turnovers, I think J.C. Jackson could be the better cornerback. I think, obviously, Jalen Ramsey is the better overall, top shelf cornerback, but J.C. Jackson with the Los Angeles Chargers is going to cause some problems. And honestly, you take a look at what Brandon Staley did with the Los Angeles Rams in his time there. He is 100% building that same mold with the Los Angeles Chargers. You got your Aaron Donald and your Leonard Floyd. The Chargers now answer with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. You've got yourself a Jalen Ramsey. The Chargers answer with a J.C. Jackson, and we are not done yet. Once again, guys, we're going to have to go through the numbers here in a little while, but I do project the Chargers, especially if we do cut Brian Bulaga, which should be any minute, any day now, should still have plenty of money to go out there and fix that defensive line, which, again, Brandon Staley did state was the #1 objective for this offseason. We're off to a great start with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, and now it's time to address the other needs here. So let's talk a little bit about J.C. Jackson and the stats. Of course, you guys know him on Instagram as Mr. Int or Mr. Interception. It's because this man is absolutely insane in coverage and generating turnovers. In this last season, he generated 8 turnovers, which is absolutely insane, turning it into 92 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely fantastic stats for J.C. Jackson. Additionally, 58 total tackles, as you guys will see at the bottom of the screen right there. This man isn't afraid to throw himself in there and get those running backs on the ground. This is just such a good acquisition for a Chargers, and honestly, one that may spell a little bit of a shift in what the Chargers intend on doing this season. Asante Samuel Jr., when he was being graded and when people were asking, what kind of cornerback is he in the NFL draft, a lot of people were saying, he's good in zone, great in man, he could fit in the slot. It really feels like the Chargers may be moving JC, or should be moving Asante Samuel into the slot while having JC on the outside. But one trait that both of these guys do share that is a little bit different than what the Chargers normally run is excellent in man coverage. I think the Chargers may be introducing a little bit more man coverage this season by adding elite talent like J.C. Jackson, and of course you've already got guys like Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. Additionally, the man blitz is going to be something I hope the Chargers start introducing a little bit more, with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on each side of the edge, those bookend edge defenders. I think the Chargers are going to try and generate a lot of pressure to make some bad decisions by the quarterback, and then one of these guys, J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel, Derwin James, will be back there to benefit with a turnover, potential turnover. And honestly, the biggest thing I think the Chargers are building right now on this defense is the ability and the opportunity for the Chargers to get more opportunities to turn the ball over. J.C. Jackson, if it's thrown in his vicinity, if it's a low ball, if it's too short, if it's too long, it feels like J.C. should be able to pick that off. Additionally, with Derwin James and those other guys as well. And Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack will offer more opportunities for that to happen as we go on. Either way, man, this defense and the moves that the Chargers have been making so far this offseason have been absolutely stellar. We can now add J.C. Jackson to the graphic, that we're seeing here on the screen. This Chargers defense is absolutely turning over in this one offseason. We knew it would be exciting. We've done how many dozens of videos over the course of the last couple of months. We knew J.C. Jackson was the best case scenario possible, and it did officially happen today. Let me list off some names for you real quick and just kind of breathe it in as your new reality as a Chargers fan. J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. These are the guys that are going to help turn this Chargers defense into a top 5 unit, in my opinion. Now, really quickly, let's go back to Twitter and make sure we haven't missed anything else because the last time we did this, we did see some news. This is absolutely insane, man. So the Bucs 3-year, okay, Carlton Davis is going back. Lots of news revolving in free agency today, man. Chargers fans going absolutely wild. So in the comment section below, guys, let me know some of your reactions to the Chargers signing J.C. Jackson. Of course, it's going to carry a lot of positive consequence for this team going forward. J.C. Jackson, 25 interceptions in his last 4 seasons. I think, dudes, he's got a great shot at continuing to build on that number, as the Chargers will be able to provide him more opportunities to pick that ball off. If your name is Russell Wilson, if your name is Patrick Mahomes, if your name is unfortunately Derek Carr, welcome to the AFC West. The Chargers are about to take charge, and this defense will make you wish you never messed with the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's go, baby. J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. There's my reaction. We're going to go deeper into what these signings and the implications of these signings are going to be as we move into this week. But what a way to start things off. Chargers are not done yet. Look for Sebastian Joseph Day. Look for Akeem Hicks, and look for other defensive linemen to be added to this roster, as well as a right tackle throughout the course of the next maybe 48 hours. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you liked what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty. JC Jackson, yeah!